All right, so Eddie, how you doing today?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, comic book fans of all ages, from an undisclosed location in New York State, we have a Hulk. And with no disrespect to Lou Ferrigno, welcome to the incredible Mark Ruffalo.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
Only
my
just
pleasure.
begins to cover it.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Lou Ferrigno, for opening the door for us all.
Oh, yeah.
Ferrigno and
Absolutely.
Bixby.
Setting the foundation.
Yes, and Bill Bixby.
And we have to thank you first
he's
and
my
foremost
hero.
because, just by the first movie in 2012, you're always angry. So why would you even think to do? I love the way that this whole thing came together. Purely by accident, happenstance, just random meeting,
Yeah.
and here we are.
Yeah.
It's just so excellent. So
How did it happen?
let's get over the ooh-ah moments and get on with what we want to talk about. Of course, Dr. Bruce Banner, the Hulk, in the Marvel Studios films beginning in 2012 with the Avengers. How did that come to you, that role? If you recall.
Well, luckily, Joss Whedon was casting it, and it was the one part that I think he was casting. Everyone else had already been doing the movies. Ed had that wasn't going anywhere forward with Ed Norton.
Mm-hmm.
So the spot opened up, and I think Robert Downey also put in a good word for me.
Nice.
That Zodiac connection.
Yeah, it was a Zodiac connection. And Joss came to me and he said, listen, I want you to play Bruce Banner and Hulk, and I wanted to depart from the other movies and really make you guys look a lot alike, so I really want you to do all the CGI. We have the technology now where we could really use your face and really, make the monster look like Banner. And I said, you got the wrong guy. I think Joaquin would be much better in this part than me.
Joaquin was in consideration?
No, not at that, not yet at that. But I thought, I don't know if I'm the right person for this.
Are you a comic book fan to begin with?
Oh yeah, and I loved The Incredible Hulk. That was one of my favorite TV shows as a kid, and I read all the comics too. So
Any other favorites come to mind, or?
Well, my other favorite is Wolverine and X-Men. That was the Frank Miller days.
Oh, with Chris Claremont?
Yeah, when he just showed up, and his girlfriend at the time was doing all the coloring.
Oh, Lynn, I want to say.
Yeah, Lynn, yep. And I got to meet them, and Frank gave me a signed copy of Wolverine.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
The only two people that I'd ever thought I could ever would love to play would be, Banner, Hulk, and Wolverine.
Well, I have to ask, speaking of Wolverine, with Disney's, I guess, upcoming or it's done, we don't know. It's kind of like the Mandarin, right?
Where's the Mandarin?
Well, not that. Here or not here.
Mine.
But what's happening right now is we're going to be getting eventually added into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Fantastic Four, Deadpool, the X-Men.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see interact with your character, like in the future?
Well, of course, there's always the Banner Black Widow combo, which I think's always a good combination. But it'd be cool to see. I mean, people talk a lot about Wolverine and Hulk hooking up. I think that'd be a really great.
I mean, if anything,
That would be
your character
Off the
was the
charts.
introduction of Wolverine. So
yeah,
just saying.
yeah, just saying, right? And I love Hugh, and it would be cool to do something with him if he's up to doing it. He's always teased that Hulk versus Wolverine would be pretty fun.
I want to see you get your hands on Ryan Reynolds. Just saying. Just saying.
That would be great too. That would be that'd be a really unlikely pairing, but I think really funny and really great.
preparing for this initial role.
Yeah.
What kind of research? How did you? I mean, it sounds like you had a background of the reading of the comics, but
Yeah. I wanted, there was a few things. I thought it was a particularly tough nut to crack because the problem with, Banner is that you're watching a guy not wanting to do the exact thing that you want him to do, as the Hulk out. And so how, and he could come off as a little dour and he could come off as a little, unhappy, and I thought I thought having some humor, having him have a sense of humor, would be really important. I mean, I went back and watched with my son. We binge watched the box set of The Incredible Hulk. And I went back to the comics and the Marvel Wiki, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And, got back into some of the mythology of him. But for the most of that was me and Joss just kind of sitting down and trying to reintroduce his character in a way that would be compelling to people to see because it had already been done so many times before. And the other thing was, what would the Hulk be like? If we were going to be using CGI and I was going to be able to play the character, like what physicalization would be appropriate for him? And that became a big thing that Joss and I were working on a lot. And we were working with the animators as well.
Which is probably something I don't think, at least up until this point, you had to do.
No, I never had anything to do. I never did anything like that. And at that point, they did the facial recognition was separate from the body movements.
Oh yeah,
and so it was a totally different. I mean, the technology's come so far now, and just wait till you see the next one because what we're able to do with the technology is mind blowing.
I think that's going to probably be the last thing we ask is what's ahead. I think this helped you. If you recognize this
yes, I do.
book.
Yes, The Incredible Guide to the Incredible Hulk.
So we're connected from 2011.
Eddie, I signed this for you. Where
Is
was
it all
this?
coming back now?
Yes.
Well, our wives met in a different circumstance, in a different situation.
Yeah.
And the discussion must have come up about this movie and so on. And so
yes,
I passed on the book
this.
from my wife to your wife to you. And,
yes, I remember.
And there you go. And here we are.
Yeah, this is amazing.
It's kind of come full circle. So I thought I
have a copy
throw
of
that
this
on you.
Particular poster.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a great poster.
With the grayish
Jack
when he
Kirby?
first started. Yeah.
When they couldn't get the color green. Back in the old days when Hulk was actually gray because they couldn't make color green in comic books. That's just a little tidbit for you folks out there.
It's another little. We got a bunch of them.
Wow, that's amazing, man. It's cool.
So we've kind of known each other since 2011.
We have. Good to finally
and it's
meet
come
you.
full circle. Yeah. Who'd have thought? By accident. Gamma radiation accident. Never mind.
Possible.
That's going back to that, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tangents. That's
The beginning.
I'll go off and...
The origin.
Exactly. Man or the Monster. Your first Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
When, where, what was your impression?
So they were negotiating my deal the night before I was supposed to fly to Comic-Con, and there was a lot going on with Marvel at that time. I didn't know that I was. I didn't know that I had the part, and my agent basically said, "Listen, go to bed now. Get up at 4 a.m. Look out your window. If there's a limo there waiting for you, you're going to Comic-Con. If not, go back to bed. We're sorry it didn't work out."
And you said, you expect me to sleep.
I was like, yeah, right. I'm not going to be sleeping tonight. And lo and behold, like at 3:30, I heard a car drive up, and I wasn't sleeping. And I ran out and I saw that, and I knew, then I knew I was flying to San Diego secretly. And so they sent me to San Diego. And it was a private plane, so nobody knew, I couldn't be tracked. Nobody knew. Everyone thought that Ed was going to be doing it, I think.
Oh, wow.
Or they weren't sure. There was a lot of speculation and conjecture going around on the internet, as it tends to do. And the idea was that Robert Downey Jr. would introduce the new member would introduce Bruce Banner. Everyone is being called to stage.
Yeah.
And so Robert Downey Jr. in his inimitable way says, "And now reprising the role of the Hulk." And everyone heard reprising, and of course they thought it was Ed. And I came out. It was literally like, "Yeah, huh?" You could hear 3,000 people literally stop in the middle of their scream and go, "Huh?" And then I walked out.
Have you ever talked to Ed afterwards, after your performance? Like, did he give you any comments about it, feedback?
No, actually, we never really have talked about it. I was just kind of like, "Is this okay?" And he's like, "Man, all's fair in love and war."
And Hulk.
And yeah. and Planet Hulk. And and World War Hulk. And so Yeah, he never gave me any feedback.
With Infinity War, you were directed by the Russo brothers, and with the first two Avengers movies, you were directed by Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
What is the difference between their directing styles, all three guys?
Well, Joss is much more kind of into the intricacies of it. You know, the Russos, you know, we worked a lot on the script together. And so, which was a little bit different than Josh. Josh pretty much did the script completely on his own, and we would get, you know, the pages, but there wasn't a lot of back and forth. There was in the beginning, but once he was on his way, he was pretty much knew what he wanted. The Russos really were like, hey, you know this part better than us at this point, so we really want your feedback. We want your even, you know, improvisations when we get on set. I mean, we'd be in the middle of a scene and Joe would be yelling lines in to try in the middle of a scene. And so it was a lot looser, I guess, with the Russos. I mean, we're like herding cats as a group. It's literally like trying to round up a group of kindergartners or something, because first of all, we're having the time of our lives. We all love each other. Everyone's goofing off, and so it's not easy to get us all moving in the same direction together.
That's the thing I've noticed about the Marvel dynamic. It's very fun and just happy. Like, what is it that you all love about it?
Well, the camaraderie. I mean, you know, we're actors. We're mostly alone in the world, you know. Rarely ever do you get to do something. I say this is like shooting a television series where you shoot one episode every 3 years and you get paid twice the amount. But
Wow.
It's really a great gig. But, you know, as actors, you really live like this carny life, and a lot of times you never work with the same people. I mean, you're always, each job's a whole new family that you're making. So the fact that we've been together for as long as we have, people have raised families, they've had kids, that, you know, there's just an ease. We know each other really well. We've been through really stressful times and really special, rarefied times together. We're all really grateful for the work. There's not an asshole in the bunch. Everyone's, you know, fun and willing. There's no ego. It's just, other than, you know, the healthy ego.
Yeah.
It's the perfect job, and Kevin and the whole team over there, Lou Esposito, and Jeremy Latrim back in the day, and Brad, they really have created this wonderful kind of loving familial space for us all.
I've noticed that, especially, for example, it's a recurring meme on the internet, but it's the time you walk right behind Paul Rudd and you go, "Is that Paul Rudd?" And just that look you make, it's priceless. I love it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an imposition. It was real. Okay. But how much fun was it, too, specifically doing the reversal in Infinity War, wearing the Hulkbuster suit, whereas previously you were getting the crap kicked out of you, or in contention with Tony in the suit and everything? How did it feel
to be in the Hulkbuster?
Doing it that way, and, you know, and mouthing off and saying, "Yeah, we got this. Come on, guys," you know, whatever. Even if Hulk's not coming out.
Yeah,
you know.
I think, you know, we went back and forth a lot on like how to end the movie with Banner, and do we repeat the Hulk coming at the last minute, or do we try something new? And I think at that point we were all thirsting to have Banner be his own hero for once.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a conflict brewing between Banner and Hulk, you know, that's been going on since the beginning, you know?
No question.
And it all came out of sort of this question that Joss Whedon asked me when Hulk sort of gets the fairy dust from Scarlet Witch sprinkled on him in Avengers 2. Joss asked, "What is Hulk afraid of?" And that was a hard thing for me to answer, because what is the strongest, fiercest thing in the universe afraid of? What could he possibly? And I realized it's Banner. The only thing Hulk is afraid of is Banner.
Yes, that is correct.
And so that's become something that we've been riffing on since Avengers 2. Mm-hmm. We played with it a lot in Ragnarok, and it continues to be teased out in Infinity War 1 and Infinity War 2.
So would you say then that maybe some of that playing around with it and so on, the development of the Hulk being literate versus just growling all the time.
Yeah.
You know, from a first Avengers just puny god to a lot of roaring and growling in Age of
In
Ultron,
2, yeah.
and then really becoming a conversationalist practically in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
You know, that's noticeable. And
Yes.
and maybe the question is, where would you like to see that the Hulk character go and possibly do? Not become gray again and be Mr. Fix-It
Yeah.
with Wolverine teaming up.
He
Right.
looked good in a suit, though. Just saying.
I bet so.
Yeah, he would look great in a suit. Well, I can't really talk about it because what I want, because I've had so much a hand in where it's all going.
Mhm.
I'm in my own little hand. Not that I have little hands.
They're decent sized.
They're decent sized, right?
Thinking the little hand of
I swear,
let's compare.
I don't have little hands.
I'm just thinking the little hand of Black Widow saying, you know, big guy, the sun's getting low.
Yeah, he's got some big hands. But I will say that I want to see this conflict like carried out and see where that takes us, and see, you know, can they come to terms with it? You know, do they ever get a moment where they're? I always thought it'd be great to see the two of them in some sort of subspace where they get to battle it out with Banner's brains as its own superpower,
Wow.
like some psych weaponry and or psi weaponry against Hulk's brute strength, you know, and have these two characters battle it out. I always thought that would be like
That is
the
definitely sci-fi.
ultimate- That would be the ultimate comic book ending, or you know,
Or just
something
the next
opening
step. Yeah.
opening to these characters, you know.
Or at least getting to the part where it could coexist. I think, too, of the What If comic book, where it's what if the Hulk had Bruce Banner's brain?
Yeah.
We're so kind of there and or past and moving on to other things now.
Yeah.
It's,
The
I mean,
Professor.
I guess it's source material now for current
Well, they've done it in
storylines.
the comics. The
Yeah.
Professor, you know,
Okay.
they've actually melded the two of them together, you know, in one of the comics. I mean, there's so many. There's an infinite ways you can go with it,
Mhm.
you know. And then the beauty is we can change it and at any point, you know. That's the beauty of these comics. That's the beauty of what Kevin has created, with letting each director have his own vision and idea and twist it and turn it and bring people back to life or not bring them back to
We
life.
would like Vision back. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want
I'd love
Star-Lord.
Vision back.
He's all about Star-Lord.
I mean,
yes.
you've seen my tattoo.
Oh
Mark,
yeah,
so just
I know.
saying.
I know. We lost some good ones.
I
that
just have
last
two.
round.
That's well half. You know.
Yeah.
I just have two more things that I had noted to ask, and we may have touched on one of them already. What would be some of the most either highlights or, you know, as in upbeat and or challenging parts of doing this role for this period of time?
Honestly, for me, it's always been, you know, I'm playing two characters, and the motion capture has always been really hard for me. And I, you know, it's kind of an imperfect technology because I've been mostly by myself. And I'm an actor who likes to play with other people, you know. I really like to play off of them and respond to them. And so sometimes I feel like the motion capture could be a little frustrating.
Mm.
In the past, the way people have dealt with motion capture has been to throw you into second unit. And through my work with Terry Notary and some of the other people who are doing amazing things with motion capture, Andy Serkis in particular, we've all sort of banded together and like are insisting that a motion capture character is seen as production, as first team, not being thrown off to second unit, but in first unit. And getting people to think of it in those terms have been difficult at times, but I think everyone's open to it. It's just a whole nother level of technology that you're bringing into filmmaking that is completely new.
Yeah.
And it's just burgeoning. It's like just at the smallest part of its birth right now. And there's so much to do with it and so much further to go. Mm-hmm. And the technology is at a place now where I can actually perform on stage as the Hulk, interacting with other characters, and basically have watch playback as the Hulk, you know, right there in front of me. And then where you can go with that is with 3D goggles. You know, I could see myself as the Hulk. You know, I could see my hands as the Hulk. There's so much to do.
Yeah.
And that's always been a struggle and a challenge because it's limited in some ways. It's also at the same time completely unlimited. Whatever you can imagine, you can be now. I could be a flea on the ass of God, you know, and I could play that character now.
Damn.
You can't unsee that one now. But no, that's absolutely true. And then with that in mind, hopefully then, because I know when you first had come on, it had been publicized that you were on for 6 films, and we're of course hoping that that's going to continue beyond just that.
I don't know.
You know, yeah.
I have no idea.
Do you know what your timetable is from now to we see the film?
Well, we're doing reshoots starting in September.
Okay.
And and then we'll go back into the international, you know, big
go on tour.
Yeah, we go on tour.
It's not just the late night talk shows.
Punk rock tour. Yeah, full on Aerosmith tour. You know, the Rolling Stones tour, international tour, and then you guys will get the second installment.
Yeah.
Which we don't even know what is going to be yet. Like, we're literally we're not just doing reshoots, we're going to finish the movie, which we really didn't get to finish totally when we left it last year.
Then why should it be no surprise that you don't get to know, besides not being able to tell us at this early juncture, but it was not surprised that you don't get to know some things because if it wasn't known that you were coming out to be the reimagined, repurposed Hulk from 2012, then sure, you can't let it all out from the beginning and stuff like that.
And that I don't even know that they really know exactly. Some of it is happening while we're there, you know. It's pretty amazing. And we'll shoot some stuff and a few days later come back and reshoot it because we want to take it in another direction.
Right.
So it's a very living organism, even as we approach it, you know, being a locked picture. We're still working on it.
It's great. It's great to be able to talk about this and have you with us.
Sure,
it's just very cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane though, just how close knit everything is. Like, where I've heard like a lot of the actors didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, well, we were getting dummy scripts. That blew my mind because I was like, you have to really go out of your way to give everyone a script that isn't quite what's gonna happen, you know.
And then everyone lived happily ever after at the end of Infinity War.
No, I mean, there's crazy side things that you're like, what is this scene? You know? Yeah. There's and so some of us, I don't even think, knew what we were watching until we were actually watching it.
Yeah, they kept Tom Holland like completely in the dark so he wouldn't say anything.
Have to.
Yeah, Tom especially.
Or me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought of when you mentioned that, not knowing getting a dummy script, and then I thought the Tom Holland script for his next one.
So before we go, Mark, I know you're on your social media sabbatical right now.
Yes, I am. But I'm working on some stuff, actually.
When you do make your return, your triumphant return, how can people get a hold of you on there?
Well, I don't know how I'm going to come back exactly. I'm still trying to figure that out.
I recommend capes. Just wear like a cape. That's your re-entrance into it.
Oh, yeah, that would be
could
cool.
work.
Yeah, capes are cool. A Fortnite cape.
I was going to say maybe not red and blue. It's overused, maybe.
Yeah, let's do something new. How about a green and purple?
Yeah,
I like your thinking.
Now we're talking.
Maybe just like throw in like a splash of gray in some spots.
Yeah,
just a
like
little
that.
bit.
Just as an homage to the beginning of
Sounds
it all.
like a plan.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Any more questions, Ed?
I'm sure there could be, but I did one page and I stopped right there.
What about you, kiddo?
I'm tapped out.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mark, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank
Sorry
you.
that I didn't.
Greatly appreciate it, Mark.
I had to reschedule.
Lots of
Sorry
continued
about that.
success.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was nice talking to you guys. That was fun.